It seems like the altcoin season is actually starting to pick itself back up again. And if you've got no idea what I'm talking about, it's a matter of looking at the broader crypto market. One thing that becomes quite apparent is now that all these announcements are coming out of central banks coming on in, MicroStrategy with Michael Saylor getting on Forbes, and just many positive things for crypto, the price really didn't budge too much. I mean, the ECB's president Christine Lagarde just said they do not expect Bitcoin to be in any EU reserve soon, and we basically made a joke saying, you know what, that means we're going to go so much higher on the short term. And then the price broke $106,000 per Bitcoin. Quickly afterwards, though, it came right back down. But now, Bitcoin is doing pretty good. I mean, 4% up in a day is actually really good for Bitcoin. We have yet to break out from the range though, but it becomes more interesting when I start looking through and I realize, you know what? First of all, Ethereum is outperforming. It's up more than the rest. Crazy on its own, I know. But really, when you start sorting it, you all of a sudden see Fartcoin is up, I still love to see it, but Fartcoin is up 35%. And this ranking right now is not perfectly working because when I just checked it out, even on a phone as I'm checking it out right now, some of these coins are up like way crazier numbers. And I'm not so sure which of these two is lagging. Let me quickly refresh. So on my phone here, it says that Jasmy is up 32% today. Here we go. Right, so Jasmy up 31% today. Mantra up 25, Dexa up 22. And Fartcoin back down a little bit actually over the last hours. But generally speaking, just an absolutely crazy market with actually only like 3 or 4 coins here going down. WIF is one of the worst, Trump Coin, Pudgy Penguins, and Maker. But if we're taking a look again from the top down, you can see we're actually starting to do pretty damn good again. Not the craziest of numbers. You guys like to see crazy numbers, sure. But XLM is up 12%. SUI is up 9%. Again, we said it's a pretty easy trade whenever SUI comes back to about $3.60, which it came close to. They go to $3.65 or so. HBAR is up 4%, so nothing too crazy here. Litecoin, I still wouldn't touch it with a 50-foot pole, even though it has done pretty well. Hyperliquid keeps outperforming. It often does some crazy moves. Mantra used to be one of my biggest holdings. I've actually sold a good chunk, but the RWA industry right now is popping off again because of announcements from Trump and because BlackRock basically had an announcement out just now. BlackRock-backed Securitize integrates with Solana to expand tokenized real-world assets, and more announcements of this sort have just recently come out, causing, I guess, Ondo, Mantra, just RWAs to do pretty well right here. At least today, Mantra is up 25%. And I mean, it does from a certain angle make a lot of sense. If you're wondering, Dusty, why did you sell some Mantra if you're always so bullish on it? You got to understand that I think I'm at like, I don't know what multiplier I'm at on my Mantra. Like if you asked me a year ago, I wouldn't have expected it to come like 1/10 of the price as high. So I'm extremely satisfied with how Mantra's done over the past year or two, and my gains are so severe that I had to just take some out and put into different projects. Because again, if you're taking a look at the chart right here, you can see it used to be like 1 cent, 2 cents for the longest of times. All of a sudden, it's pumped to like, I remember it pumped it to like 50 cents or something. Maybe it was $2, I guess, and I was really happy. Then it went to $3. No, it was way before that. I think here on this pump somewhere, I got a good chunk in. That I remember from it going from like 18 cents to, yeah, I think here it was like 32 cents. And I was so amazed already. And then all of a sudden it went to like 60 cents. Wow, super crazy. And you can see the process has been just wild. And it kind of reminds me of a different coin, Nosana. And actually, there are very many coins that are kind of similar in nature, which are always just a good buy when they move down significantly because they just pick up the pace so hard. And now actually, if we're taking a look here, even though it doesn't feel like it, the market doesn't feel too crazy bullish, even coins like Quant are up 14% or so throughout the day. And you know what the craziest thing is, ladies and gents? I have talked about Quant 1,000 times on this channel, probably more. But you know what that I just now realize? I really just now realized that QNT is freaking $113 a coin. My head can't properly wrap around that idea that it's so ridiculously, quote unquote, expensive right now. I remember looking at this coin for the longest time of like 50 something dollars. I mean, it might have actually not been a long amount of time that it was there, but in my head it was. In my head it was like $60, $50 or something like that for a long amount of time. And apparently we even went as high as $160 a while back. my head still kind of doesn't comprehend we're at these levels, and it keeps thinking, man, we're still so cheap, but it's starting to move away from the extremely cheap territory. But then I like to look back at the history of QNT and how it's performed over the past, and I realize, you know what, right now, relatively to Bitcoin, we still haven't actually done that crazy of a number. There's still quite a lot of gains to go just to get back to old numbers, but now, of course, that Trump got into office, that's, again, a very important kicker a lot of people don't understand. Now that Trump is in office, I expect many coins that are based in the US, have a connection to payments, or that are in the ISO bubble to do really well. I do not believe QNT is actually an American coin, but it still kind of continues on with the pumps every single time some of the other famous coins like XRP or XLM go up. And even partially for that reason, I just kind of like to bundle it in the same basket, even though they're not exactly the same. And my point is that this season, this cycle, a lot of coins that have done really well the past cycle might actually get a little outperformance going, because even though the pool is bigger of altcoins, right, as right now a freaking million tokens a week get made, it seems like, I think there's going to be a sort of paradigm shift where a lot of the old value is going to get a resurgence, and most likely with significant new audiences, new volumes as well, to really bring out the best of it. I just really kind of expect it to. I mean, most of these coins really haven't even beaten their all-time highs yet. I still have a pretty long way to go, a pretty juicy journey to go. And I like to often relate that back to Ethereum by stating, yes, things are doing good right now, but they can do so much better. And real quick, I'll quickly shout out that I'm doing a 6,000 or so XRP giveaway over on Blowfin. A link for that is down below. As right now, we're giving away about $16,000, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. Matter of fact, almost $17,000 we're giving away over about 6 days, and it will be given away to 20 different people. You can see all the requirements down here. And I keep telling you, some people are just absolutely crazy, absolutely cracked with their trading. Regardless, the link for it is down below. And the reason I'm stating this is, like I said earlier, because a massive trading competition is coming soon, but more importantly, actually, because I always show you guys this Bybit account, for example, or the main Blowfin account, with our XRP trade and the Bitcoin trade and virtuals, which has been doing bad. But actually, when it comes to virtuals here, what I should be doing right now is taking a look at where I bought at initially, $2.70. Taking a look at the current price, for example, $2 or maybe even just now $1.80, and average my price out. So my position was about $12,000 worth. I should probably take a look at this $2 price tag right now that we're at and take myself another good chunk, maybe buy another 10, 12, 15, whatever, 500K. No, just another juicy chunk just to average my price back out again. So I'll be able to flip it for profit as the price starts moving back up. And it might not be now, but I just quickly stepped back over into our other trading account. This is basically a challenge that we started, right? Hopefully you guys remember, we basically bought in with 15K and we're like, you know what, how much can we flip this to? And then I kind of forgot about it. Now, the thing is, with accounts like these, generally speaking, if you just keep it up, and the problem is that I've not actively been selling, I've not been doing too much, but you can see we put $1,000 into XRP, a very little amount, but we were still able to take $4,000 worth of profit on it. We put $200 into HBAR, $1,200 worth of profit, $500 into Solana, $350 worth of profit, and this was obviously way higher a bit ago. It's just been bad timing looking at it now. Many coins were up way more a while back. HBAR, for example, let's take a look. As you can see, a few days ago, it was up how much? Let's quickly take a look. It was up roughly 30% more from the current prices. Point being, right now, if I, for example, take a look at Dogecoin, Dogecoin is down significantly from the price at which we originally bought at. I think I actually bought in 2 bundles. Maybe I bought even higher before, or just got lost. Because what I'm seeing from here, I actually bought at a pretty low price, but the average is still quite high. But now, if I, for example, let me show you guys again here a little bit. If I just right now, for example, take a look and I'm like, you know what? We actually are at a pretty low price for Doge. If I just actually add a little bit more money to it, just a couple $100, couple $1,000 at the current price that we're at, I just, for example, buy a little bit more here. You can see my average price just dropped tremendously for that reason. Now my position is bigger, sure, but generally speaking, I should actually try get my position significantly bigger here, because I know that at some point Doge will flip this again. And that basically means that right now, as we're moving, I still kind of see Doge as either setting itself a proper bottom or converging ever so slightly, with just slightly higher bottoms being made on the short term. And as Bitcoin did not make a new high, even though it did make a new high recently with Trump's inauguration, most alts are not. And I kind of feel as if Doge, just like all the other coins, is waiting for that move. And some people like to buy the bottoms here to try to trade it back towards the upside, or just because it kind of feels like the market is, coming back up from a chopping session. All I'm stating is I do not know if the price is going to go down a little bit from here, for example, all the way back towards this previous low. It is still plausible. But what I will say to that is if we do, I could just buy back in. And because I've got enough funds in this account, we can kind of keep trying. And there's another strategy, which is there's actually two things. I've described it many times. Depending on what leverage you like, there's the possibility of trying hard with harder leverage on a very short move and then trying again if you fail, because the price can only go down so much before a massive bounce happens. And as long as right now the market is quite neutral, but the overall market is very, very bullish, it's quite easy to get a good win rate with this. That doesn't mean that your win rate, as in percentage-wise, will look good. It just means that every time you win, even if you have a 25% win rate, only 1 in 4, even if it's 1 in 8, as long as you make significant profits on that win to cover out the losses, you're fine. That means a lot of people like to showcase, hey, I have a 98% win rate. I only lose 2 out of every 100 trades I take. Cool, sure, but it doesn't necessarily mean they make a lot of money. You could actually have a 1% win rate, but if every single time you win, your money goes times 1,000, and the 99 times you play the rest, right, every single time you lose. Well, if you started out with 100, so you keep trying $1 every single time, you lose 99 times in a row, you're left with $1, but all of a sudden this $1 goes times 1,000, well, you still 10x your money, right? Even though your win rate is only 1%. And that is why I often state, I'm not saying you're going to 1,000x your money with one trade. I'm just stating that you don't necessarily have to win that often. You got to just either have patience. And I often like to see people, a lot of people that I know do this for the most part. They open a trade, for example, with, it could be any amount really. It depends on how your position is. But they open it with, for example, they open a $10 million long, for example. What they wait for is they put an extremely high amount of orders as the price comes back down. Now, again, that's different for everybody. Some people have a ton of money to play around with, some don't. But what they basically do is they bet everything, they bet the house on the fact that we are going to recover at some point. And that does not mean that we're going to actually get a new high. It might just mean that from whatever point you start at, if you go down, at some point there'll be a relief rally back upwards. Even if that rally only goes to 5% below the previous level, usually you end up being fine as long as you kind of increase your sizes incrementally as the price goes down, so you can flip it back up for profit on the way up. And it's almost a flawless system. Some of the most important flaws are, 1 is you got to have some balls to hold a lot of an asset. 2, replacement cost, what else could you buy with that? And 3, do you actually believe there'll be a good relief rally? If we're taking a look at some coins like WIF, for example, if you kept on buying the dip, there would have been some opportunities to get a relief, but still it could have been kind of annoying because the price is down 75% from its high point. So you're not sure how, at what kind of relief rally you should have taken your profit, because let's just say the price drops 40%, right? So it goes from $100 to $60 now. If on the bounce back upwards, it only goes to 70, you might have actually been able to make profit on that small move, but you were thinking in your head that it was going to go to 84, just maybe, for example, 15% down from the highest point. Maybe then you didn't even take much profit, et cetera, et cetera. If the price then falls hard again with another 40% in a day or two, it might be difficult to do that. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because with many of these alts, QNT, HBAR, XRP, XLM, even VeChain, funnily enough, but you name it, those my solid coins, I just actually keep on buying them. I don't really care about buying a stupid dip. I don't really care about buying a high point. I think if you buy daily, if you buy weekly, if you buy, like I just said, stackingly, so as the price goes down lower, so you DCA, every single one of them will be proper. Even most people that are trading it right now, coins like XRP, it's quite hard to lose. This is not finished advice. But if I look through accounts, and I can see a lot of them, I have generally speaking realized that most people just long XRP, and their biggest mistake might be a bit of over leveraging. But most people are in a very, very good spot, at least that know what they're doing. And how do you see if they know what they're doing? Because they don't let their emotions take over. And that means if they all of a sudden get into a loss, they know what they need to do next. They know they need to buy more to average it out. And this is not me encouraging you to put the house on the line, to put all your money into something. Please always consider what you're able to lose in that sense. But what I will state is that in times like this, and I've said it in multiple videos throughout the day here as well, I personally think it's worth it to stack your way down, get a juicy average price, because as long as the price comes back up from where it is at today, at some point, even if it takes a long while, you'll be able to profit. XRP, greatest example, went to $3. Oh, it was down for a long time. But anybody who bought consistently, still, even though it took 7 years, it's a long ass time, anybody who bought consistently was able to flip their money to at least a tenfold of what it was at the bottom, right? And so that basically means if you put in $10,000 at the top, $3 years back, you probably, as of this point, over 7 years, have probably got yourself a couple more tens of thousands in. But let's just say that right now you had $30,000 in at the bottom, right, over 7 years, because you started with 10K at the top. Oh, but now I think you should have had way more, but let's just say you had 30,000 in now at the bottom. That 30,000 has now gone from 30 cents to $3.40. So now all of a sudden it's almost 400K. So yes, you might say, oh, well, but it took $30,000, $40,000 in the whole process and 7 years of my life. Yeah, but still, if you think about it, right? People can save up $10,000, $20,000 in their lifetimes, and they're really amazed by what they've been able to do. Or you save for college, as an example, and it takes 25 years to save for your kids or whatever. But then think about that they were able to flip it to a tenfold instead of just like a 10% return a year, doubling your money in like 8 years or whatever. No, in this case, they were able to tenfold it in a few years, right? Think about it like that. I always like to think about it like that. That even if it takes a long while, which I don't expect, right? Who could have expected the lawsuit to hit? Which, by the way, now everything is coming out that whole Ripple lawsuit was completely bogus. Right now, we all know it because Ripple did win and XRP was not a security, but it did hammer in on the 2021 bull run. I still believe that XRP would have hit $10 or at least $7 a coin back in 2021 had the lawsuit not been there. And by that reasoning, I still believe that right now we're like where Ethereum is at, right? We're kind of like in a zone where most people feel as if it's done good, because Ethereum, even it's not a failure of an asset, but it's kind of like underperforming. Ethereum is, right? XRP has it on a broader scale where it's been doing super well. It's up a lot from the bottom, but really the real run, in my opinion, hasn't actually happened, and we're waiting for the overall market to get it done. But remember, guys, like I was trying to say at the start of the video, it feels like altcoin season 5. It really feels like it. But when you start looking at the section right here, the from all-time high section, you realize that there are so many coins. This is stupid, right? They should have done percentage from all-time high, the sorting, not the dollar amount from all-time high. But really, when you start looking at it like that, these coins are down such tremendous numbers from their high points still. We've got a long-ass journey to go. And I keep saying, today people are all saying, oh, Michael Saylor was deemed to be on the cover of Forbes. This is the top. I keep looking at this thinking, if you think that this was the top, nobody's really just lunatically, or how do you say it, I'll call it, like lunically, whatever, bullish yet. We're not seeing everybody saying, no, this is never going to end. We're going to $7 million of Bitcoin. No. Most people are stating, no, this is where we go down. And if everybody's stating that this is where we go down, we don't tend to do that. Now, right now at $106,000 of Bitcoin, I will state that there is still chance for more chopping because we're not overtaking those heights. We're staying at a roughly sideways move here, which often with indecision here is followed up by a chop. And that basically might mean that everything kind of goes down for a little bit. But then again, if we look back to the November period, we kind of saw similar results as what we're seeing right now, that after some converging, let's just call it like that, there were some crazy moves afterwards that almost nobody could have really predicted. And I kind of feel, as I said in my previous video, that we're in a spot like that where a massive move really is amongst us because of all the announcements that are made, because of all the positive news, but we have yet to make that move. It keeps being stalled further and further. Bulls are being trapped, and just the last few days, bears have been trapped. We're back to neutral. We're back into a territory where nobody really knows where we're headed next. The bearishness, though, that was overwhelmingly here the last few days has been wiped out again because the alts have recovered. But it's kind of funny, like I just said, that really when you look at the actual numbers, it feels like alt season. Look at that. Look at all those numbers across the board. But the optimism is nowhere to be found, which makes this way more bullish. It makes it so much more exciting, because if everybody's excited and the price moves up, that's neutral, right? I mean, everybody's excited because things are going up. Now, nobody's excited. I hear nobody screaming, oh my God, look at my QNT, it's bumping, XLM is going. But still, when you actually look at the numbers, XLM is putting massive numbers in. SUI up 10% or so. But the thing is, they're not back to where they were at a long time ago. What XLM actually is. But SUI was at $5.50 or something a while back. So people are still looking at it thinking, we're down. Look at this. We're down 3% throughout the week. We're still down this month. But think about it more from the perspective of, whoa, SUI was $4, let's say a month ago, right? Because the price is down 2%. But now we have the Trump backing. Now we have this, that. Now we have all these things added. So the fundamentals for most of these coins are so much better, and the timing is so much better because we're after a lot of the, maybe people are going to sell the news because of Trump, etc. We're after all that. Right now, it seems to be go time because there's not as much keeping it back. Again, it can always be preceded by some chopping, but we know where we're headed. And the market looks primed. That's all I'm going to say to that. It looks primed because of everything I just stated. And even if it doesn't, you already know my strategy, right? You already know my thoughts on this. I don't know how somebody can lose in a market like this. It's a freaking bull market. All you got to do is just be a little bit stupid, click the buy button, and don't think about it. The worst thing keeping you from gains is probably overthinking. I think like decision fatigue might play a role where you're not sure which coin, for example, to buy or the percentages to go for with each coin. And so you end up making no decision at all. A lot of people have that. And when I look at XRP here, when I look at XLM here, when I look at Solana, all I'm thinking is, these are actually still quite low for where they're headed. And I should probably just go crazier. But then I realized, actually, my entire freaking portfolio is already dedicated to it. I can't do that much more. I can spend some more dollars on making these positions look a bit juicier, sure. But ultimately, at that point, I'm just basically selling some coins that I have in my portfolio already just to make some cooler looking trades for the YouTube videos here. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. My pockets are absolutely stacked with these coins right now. I don't care what happens next. I've been here for way too long to give up at points like this. I think we're about to go crazy, all right? We're about to go crazy. People will say, Dusty, you keep making the same video again and again and again. I think it's worth it. I think soon a lot of people, just like now, these weeks have been so amazing with all the thank you messages and everything. I think soon again, people will probably flood back to the channel and say, oh man, thank you for staying so consistent with keeping us up to date all the time. Or more importantly, keeping the confidence high. Because at the end of the day, we only know so much. We never know what the market's going to do tomorrow. All I'm saying is this is what I'm doing, and I'm really confident it will work. Why do I share that thought? Not because I want you to buy. Ultimately, 0% of my body here cares about whether or not you buy or sell. I kind of care about you guys making profit. Obviously, that feels nicer to me. But more importantly, I care that you understand what I'm doing so you can hopefully justify your own choices better. Meaning, first of all, you're not alone. Whatever you're doing, just know there's a lot of people selling. There's a lot of people buying. But more importantly, that you can kind of back up the choices that you're making. So if you're buying, hey, here's at least why I'm buying. Maybe decide for yourself if that aligns with you or if you think that's stupid. When I'm speaking about it and I'm explaining my choices and my rationale, I think a lot of people reflect on themselves thinking, I wouldn't have done that, or I think that's stupid, or that's smart. And repetition here is key because like I say it once, most people, first of all, do not listen the first time, the first 3 times. And second of all, only through repetition, especially in a market as volatile as what we're seeing right here, do you really see the resilience of the emotions, perhaps? Because if it was just one day that I make a video saying, here's my plan, I've done that where I made a video and then went MIA, so gone for a few days. And I come back saying, hey, the reason I've not made any videos for a while is because nothing really changed about my situation. And people are like, yeah, but this just happened, that just happened. If I do not constantly explain that, oh, this just happened, but here's my strategy. Oh, this just happened, but there's still a strategy. Then people still will panic on small things. And again, you might not see it from your side, but I've seen it. I've seen tens of thousands of comments over these years, probably hundreds of thousands of comments. I've talked to so many people, and the most important thing I realized is to know for people that the decision still stands, or that something happened in the market, for example, here's what we're doing or what we're not thinking of doing. And even though it sometimes is vague, for example, in a market, we can say, hey, there could be some more chopping, but, and that some person looks at that says, does that mean we're going to go up or down? What are you actually saying? But then if you further start realizing it, because you've watched the same type of content twice, you realize, okay, actually, at any point in any given day, in any market, really, in gold, stocks, housing, you pick it. The price can go up and down. Nobody can predict it accurately except for Nancy Pelosi. All we got to do is whatever happens, react to it in the best way we can, or use our external factors or our thoughts based on what happened previously, even though history doesn't necessarily have to repeat itself, but based on what happened previously, we combine those thoughts, we bundle them all, and basically use that to hopefully make choices with a slight edge or longer term choices based on unpredictable short-term events, meaning something happens, we do not know exactly what it is up front. All we know is if that happens, well, then this is what we do for the longer term to make sure that this event turns into a net positive, even though it might not go as positive as you planned initially. Meaning, I have a strategy for if prices go up. I have a strategy for if prices go down. Regardless of those, I have a strategy. But that every single time the price moves into a direction, really, people often ask, hey, if the price goes up, people ask, hey, should I buy now or when should I sell? The price goes down, people are like, should I sell here because it's too low or should I buy? Anywhere the price goes, people do not know what to do. And the best response you can give is nobody really knows, but just make the best out of every single situation by thinking about it like this or like that. Anyway, man, I can blabber on for a long time, but I really am starting to notice the market is making a big shift. These type of gains, right? The 30% on Jasmy. Jasmy is one of those coins which has the most amount of hype in the entire market. But these vibes here with the double-digit gainers, we've not seen it in a little while. And it's kind of surprising to me that XRP is not doing some crazier numbers. Now that Quant is doing some good numbers. Now that XLM is doing some good numbers. Remember yesterday when I said Sonic getting towards the 42-cent region is always a good buy. Look at how we've fared from that low point. Again, literally, check back the video, I think, 2 days ago, actually. And you take a look at it and you'll realize, hey, right, why do I know that? Not because I said, oh, we can't go down further from here. No, even at 43 cents, it could go down further. It's because I remember that a very massive amount of people got into Sonic at about 42 or something like that. I believe it was 42 or 46, but I believe it was 42. That's what I said 2 days ago. Cents. That basically means I believe the guys at Phantom or now Sonic will not let it go below that price. That does not mean that I'm really bullish on Sonic. I don't give a crap about them as of this point, right? Maybe if I start looking into them more. All I know is that is a very, very massive inflection point. Watch out for it. And we're lucky that it was. The reason I'm saying lucky is because it could break, right? It's the same for many other coins like Mantle, for example. I keep saying Mantle. It always bounces off of $1. It always does. Has it done it many times? No. But I remember even when it was bit down, like $1 was such a massive marker. And he just used that knowledge that you've gathered over the last 7, 8 years, 9 years, whatever, of what these specific coins do, but also what most likely they are intended to do with their funds as a team or in coordination with their market makers. You just get a general feel for it. And you basically use that as an edge. And again, might not always work out, but generally speaking, it does, which is why this is so extremely profitable and why I'm actually sitting here making videos. But you know what? If you want to trade, link is down below to a platform like Blowfin or whatever you want to use. A link for WeX is also down below. I use both of them. Sometimes use Bybit, it depends. If you have a certain topic you want me to cover, just put it down below in the comment section. I'm going to take a look at every single comment for that reason. If you've watched this far in, just comment the word. Let's write Ethereum in all capital letter. No. Let's not do that. That's actually not smart. Maybe YouTube will think it's all bots then or something stupid. Just write down that you've watched it all the way through. I want to kind of see how many people actually watch a 30-minute video. And more importantly, really, just comment down below what you'd like to whoa, little stutter right there. What you'd like to see next. I really value it a lot because it's kind of hard from my side to know what people really still are out there looking for. Many people have said do a meme coin tutorial, but I keep adding that. Every single time I make a video about memes, it's mostly people saying, yeah, but, because it's quite hard. And so if I just make one video, it has to be a full-on series and mostly just sitting down there actually trading meme coins. Otherwise, it's hard to understand to people. Trading videos, I've done many of those. Top altcoins, I've done many of those and how to find them or how to think about them. How to find meme coins early, I've done a few of those. People ask their coin and then a price prediction for that. But again, it all is quite relative, and the real prediction, the end number, doesn't necessarily that much because it changes every single month based on these factors. You know, for example, Trump changed a lot for how high my predictions are now. And the fact that all these different states in the US are trying to go for reserves has changed a lot about where I think the price will end up. Regardless, comment it down below. I will take a look at every single comment. I usually always do, even though I don't respond to all of them. I do take a look at the comments every single day, don't worry. So if you've written something, just know that if I have not read it, at least somebody else has in my team. Every single comment always is being read. There's a bit too many to respond to. But anyway, regardless, love every single one of you. Just know that. That's about it for this little crypto update. Last time I'll quickly say it, still pretty big, almost 17K that we're giving away over on Blowfin. And this is just a small little piece of the pie. A bigger giveaway is happening soon, but I want to start with the trading competition first. So this is just a small competition just to kind of warm us up for the massive Blowfin competition afterwards. But again, I really think we have a good shot at winning it. And it might be like, maybe it's only $100,000, maybe it's a couple $100,000 that we can win as a team. But that's why I thought, you know what? Giving away 16,000 or some 17,000. It's kind of little for what we're about to win, hopefully, as a team. We got to do it. We got to put ourselves on the map. I think it's going to be great. But yeah, that's about it.